Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. In this video we're having a look at what we talked about in the live. So for anyone who doesn't know, the lives are on every Tuesday and Thursday at 12 p.m. GMT, and we just come on and talk about our development, our personal development, our nervous system regulation, what we're manifesting, mind shifts, belief work, all of that kind of thing in relation to evolving. So today we were in the live and we were talking about the idea of mistakes. And when we are manifesting anything into our life, it really is an end goal. And so when we look at manifestation, we should be looking at manifestation that we are the manifestation. So what I mean by this, everything that we manifest comes through us, meaning that we are manifesting based on our beliefs, or traumas, things that we may have experienced, things that we are unconscious of, and things that we may not actually know that we are manifesting, all will come from unconscious, subconscious, and as we operate throughout our day is a part of how we manifest as well too. So with that being said, when we are looking at the idea of mistakes, there are no mistakes. So when we look at mistakes are always going to be something that will, if it's not conscious, it's going to be subconscious or unconscious. It will create a pattern, because really a mistake is something that is continuing to happen, because if we are not learning, we're having fun, and if we're not learning from a mistake, it means we're unconscious of it. So really we're not even making a mistake because we are unconscious of what it is that we are actually creating. So when we become conscious of any mistakes that are going on in our reality, we know then that there's something for us to learn here. This pattern has been created and I'm waking up to that now. I'm waking up to the fact that I have been in a pattern. I'm waking up to the fact that this mistake was done more than once. So it's a pattern, and it's something that I didn't know I was doing because I wasn't conscious of everything that was going on. But now that I know better, I do better, and I actually become conscious of my unconscious thoughts, of my subconscious beliefs, how I am operating on a subconscious level throughout my day. So when we identify this, we know then that we are learning. So if we're not having fun, we're learning. So when we are learning on something, that is when we delve in a little bit deeper into what is going on within our mind. So mindset work is, I suppose you could say that it's a bit like CBT, cognitive behavior therapy, because we are changing our mind. We're shifting our mind into a different perspective on what is going on around us, and we are using positive affirmations. And then when we come into knowing that we are shifting our mind into a direction that is going to manifest this end goal. So let's say, for example, you have a pattern that was unconscious, that you created, maybe traumatic relationships, or relationships always ended in the same way. Now that you know that this was a pattern that was created subconsciously, you can change it. And because you can change it, you gear your mind toward that change. So the end goal then is a positive relationship. It's a relationship that you may not have experienced before. And so then you use your mind in a way that is going to embrace the idea of you accepting and transforming and allowing this relationship to unfold. Now, when we are changing into this transition, it can feel uncomfortable because it will be out of our comfort zone, because ironically our comfort zone will have been in the pattern of traumatic relationships, because it's what we would have always known. So now that we are wanting to evolve from that, we are transitioning into positive relationships. And there is a little bit of discomfort through that because we are changing our mindset. We are embracing uncertainty because it's something that we have not maybe experienced before. And this can be anything. I'm just using relationship as an example. It can be the same with career and attracting money and all of those things as well too. But when we are aware of it and we are gearing ourselves towards that, it does not mean that it's all going to be feeling good and feeling great and positive 24/7. There will be a little bit of discomfort, and that's okay. When there's discomfort, it means that it's changing. We're transitioning, and how we then actually maintain ourselves and soothe ourselves through that discomfort is to acknowledge it, accept it, and acknowledge what emotions we're going through as well too. So emotional work is very important because we are, we feel things more than you could say that we actually feel things more than we allow the thoughts to take over. So if we get a negative triggered feeling, it's more effective than maybe a negative thought, unless we continue to have the negative thoughts, but then the thoughts will create a negative feeling. So when we have this knowing around our emotional cycle, I suppose you could say, or radar, we will allow ourselves to accept our emotions. So this means that if we get frustrated, angry, sadness, grief, anything that we feel low in, guilt, and all of these kind of low emotions that we get, we just accept them in the moment. And for anyone who is wanting to delve a little bit deeper into this, look into techniques around CBT. So when we look into techniques around this, we kind of develop a routine and we develop the habit of sitting with an emotion and then kind of allowing ourselves to bring up a positive event that will help us to overcome that emotion in a better way. So these are kind of techniques that may be implied with cognitive behavior therapy, if anyone knows about that whole area. And so we can actually change our mind into the positive and we can overcome all emotions. But one thing to understand is to know that these old emotions and these past traumas and everything that we have will always be with us. And it doesn't mean that when we get positive, when we start doing all of the work to change our beliefs and nervous system regulation, it doesn't mean that we're never going to remember that we had a traumatic experience, because it's part of how we lived, it was part of our life, it was part of our story. So it's okay to allow it to always be there. It just means that we soothe ourselves through it better, we accept that it happened, and we know that we can actually experience new things in a positive way. So anytime we feel triggered or discomfort, coming into nervous system regulation then will be how we will be able to soothe ourselves through this. Because we want to be looking after the emotion, more than the thought in that moment, because when we look after the emotion, we're telling our body that we are safe. So breath work, meditation, even physical things like taking a nice hot bath, things that are kind of soothing to you. We can do yoga, Pilates, things that connect you to your body and help your body feel safe in whatever it is that you are going through. So the more your nervous system can handle, the more you can open up to new possibilities, and the more you kind of attract them new possibilities, because your nervous system is not afraid. You'll be more kind of willing to open yourself up, to be vulnerable, to maybe take the odd risk here and there as well too, that whatever feels comfortable to your nervous system will lead you there. So the mind shifts then will be the belief work, and the belief work is really all about identifying where any limiting beliefs that may have caused an undesirable pattern. And we just have, affirmations then to come in and kind of remind ourselves that this is how it is right now. We can use hypnosis, listening to them at nighttime, or we can listen to them during the day. We can just take a few minutes throughout our day to really saturate our mind in them. We can script. There are lots of different ways that we can actually tell ourselves this new story, as long as we are repetitive with it. So anything that we may have created in the past would always come from repetition. What we continue to believe to be true and how we continue to show up. It all came from repetition. So we're just going the other way now with a new story, and we're just kind of repeating ourselves in that new story through our thoughts, through our behaviors, how we operate throughout the day. And as we get stronger in it within, we allow ourselves then to take the aligned action. And the aligned action then will be, maybe a little risk of asking someone out or something, I don't know, but something that you may not have done before in relation to whatever topic that you are manifesting will be aligned. It won't be forced. It'll feel good. It'll feel like this is the next step to go, because you will have created that kind of confidence within yourself, and that knowing as well too, about your value and your worth as a human being, as a person, and as someone who deserves to have a desired loving relationship as well too, if that makes sense. So that is kind of what we were talking about in the live. If you have any questions, you can comment down below. Again, we'll be back again on Thursday at 12 p.m. GMT, and I will chat to you then. Thank you so much for listening, and have a good day.